We're back in it. Welcome back to the Hunting Overtime podcast. I am Brian.
And I'm Eric.
And today we are going to follow up with our last podcast a little bit that we mentioned to you. If you listen to that was episode 31. This is episode 32. So if you missed that episode, make sure you go back and get it. What all did we hit in that podcast, you remember?
Tag applications, your strategies,
Some
more
strategies,
than mine.
You're just not applied as many states. We talked a little bit about Nebraska application just because that's where we're from. And then a little shed hunting, and I don't even actually know where. We actually recorded that earlier today while we were cooking the brisket. We just finished eating the brisket, and it was amazing. But I don't remember what I was going to say. Dummy attack. Anyways, I just got my mind on brisket. Next thing you know, I'm just imagining this brisket as I take it off the grill, and I forgot entirely what I was talking about. Anyway,
You had your eyes closed and everything. Completely brain dead for a minute.
Literally, all I was thinking about, I was just picturing the brisket when I took it off the grill. That's literally what was in my mind. Oh man. Anyways, we filled ourselves some glasses here, and you're like crying.
Oh, that was funny.
Sure. So we filled ourselves some glasses of whiskey and some good bourbon on the rocks, and we're going to get rolling with this podcast. So what we got here is I loaded this pack and went and did a presentation at our high school here in town to a class, and we are going to unload this thing, and we're going to talk specifically first as we go through. We're going to talk about the clothing side of it, and then we will see how long that takes us. And one second, I'm going to pull up a timer here. Excuse me. We're going to see where that takes us on time in this podcast. If we have time in the same podcast, we'll go into kind of the accessories and other stuff. But we'll for sure get through the clothes. If we have to push the other stuff to a new podcast, we will. Some things I don't have in here before we get started. I don't have knives in there. I don't have my sidearm, my pistol in there. And then obviously I don't have my big rifle either, or my bow, whichever one, because, well, you can't take that stuff into school. So
Yeah.
So I don't have any of that stuff in there. I don't have food in there, but I did accommodate for the weight of it. I weighed what it would weigh out. I looked on my spreadsheets that I have, and those spreadsheets are actually available. Our packing gear lists are actually available to everybody. If you go to theseasonsmedia.com, all our gear lists are available there for you. So I took the food out, but the weight's in there, and I also do not have water in here, but the weight is in there also. In this pack, this would be packed for like a winter hunt. So like it's cold. So I'm talking like in the single digits maybe at night, definitely in the teens at night. But where you're going to need like a big heavy coat and warm clothes. So Eric has a lot of stuff in there, or that's similar in here. We're not going to necessarily tell you what stuff specifically you should use. We're going to more tell you what we have and why.
And if it works or not, which obviously it does.
Yep, and if it works or not. I do have a couple things in here that I don't like.
Yep.
One thing in particular that I'll get to that I'm not a fan of. I just have not gotten it replaced yet, but I will be getting it replaced before my next big trip. So the first thing I want to pull out of here, Eric, is actually a new thing. You probably haven't actually seen these before. These are the... Maybe I should move this computer out of the way. How about that? Oh, is that cord going to be long enough? Nope. Not going to be long enough to go to the floor, is it? There. I think that worked. All right. So the first thing I pulled out of here is not actually something that I would have in my pack right away. Maybe, depending on the scenario. But these are the First Light. Those of you watching, the First Light Furnace base layer, and I don't remember if they call it 3/4 or I don't remember exactly what they call it, but it's only like calf length. And the only reason I did calf length is for our gators,
Yep.
which I don't have high quality gators right now, but I will before my next trip. But my favorite thing about these is they unzip all the way down the side, and I can take them off without taking my boots off. And I think that's going to be a game changer. I think
A lot less time
well, yeah,
when you decide you're too hot.
yeah, I don't have to take my gaiters off. I don't have to take my boots off. I literally just drop my pants and unzip and they're off.
And both of us have the same problem where we end up running too hot
Oh yeah,
most
for
of
sure.
the time after the
sure.
morning.
Yeah. It's gonna probably have to be pretty cold for me to put a base layer on,
Yeah.
especially under. I wear the Sitka Timberline pants, and they're warm.
hmm
Which ones did you have?
I have the Traverse
The
pants.
Traverse.
Definitely lighter than yours,
Yeah.
but
Yep. And then the other thing I was telling the class about is I just got this. This is a Black Ovis Merino base layer. And the thing about Merino that I was telling them about, the most important thing probably, is that it takes a lot to make Merino stink.
yep.
And so I think that's my favorite part about this. This specific one, the Black Ovis one, I like a lot of Black Ovis stuff, to be honest with you. I feel like it's made crooked, though, on
Really?
this one. Yeah. I don't remember what I paid for it. 80 maybe? I can't remember. But, like, when I put it on, like, this zipper comes sideways on me a little bit. Maybe it's just a bad one. Maybe my shoulders are crooked. I don't know. It's not the most comfortable, but I definitely like wearing it. I just think I could have got a better one.
Yep.
I'm not going to talk about these pants, but I wear the Sitka Timberline pants. Most of you are going to know about it. One thing I did talk to him about, and pipe in on this, Eric, not most stuff, but a lot of stuff in our pack has like dual purpose uses.
Yep.
And not necessarily right away. Like one thing I talked to him about is like these suspenders on my pants, or if you wear a belt or whatever, you also have to think about, hey, I could use that as a tourniquet if I needed to.
Yep.
Like you hope you never have to, but if you had to, you could use it to cut off some blood flow. All right, now we're gonna dig into this thing. I don't have any clothes in the very top pocket. It weighed in at 60 pounds, right at 60, and I did accommodate for all the weight that I needed.
Yep. And that's 60 with or without a weapon.
That's without.
Okay.
Yeah. I like this is. I could. There's some extra stuff here. 1 second.
I mean, it sounds insane, but that's how much my pack was in Idaho, so
Right.
it's not.
Right. I had one extra thing that I have in here that I would not typically take is a rainfly. I have an extra rainfly in here, and that's, I don't know, what's that, 3 pounds?
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe more.
Probably 3 to 4 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that because I wouldn't usually take that, but on the trip that I'm going to be going on, I think I am going to take that because
Extra room to put stuff underneath.
So here, staying warm stuff, okay? So we both, right? You have these also, but
Yep.
yours are in gray. The Black Ovis or the Anchor Point pants. What did you think of yours in Idaho?
They saved my life at base camp, honestly. They were game changers at night.
It got cold on us there.
Like 20s and snow, cold.
Yeah. And I agree with you. Like, without having those on, I don't know how comfortable I would have been at all.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big key. You want to have, when you're in cold weather like that, especially. Now, if we're talking, there's so many things in here that if I was going elk hunting in September, I would not take,
Mm-hmm.
which is why this pack's so heavy. And at 60 pounds, I was also packed for 10 days.
Yeah.
So that's including food for 10 days. So I could very, very easily have this packed down in the 40s, I think.
Yep.
If I'm not talking cold weather. So if I'm talking like September backcountry elk hunting, those are gone. Maybe some of the food's gone if you're not going for 10 days. Like 10 days in a straight backcountry elk camp would be a lot probably. What else? This would go. This is my puffy. What did you take to Idaho for warm coat? I can't remember.
I had one of the Cabela's.
Oh, you had
puffy
you had a
coats.
Cabela's puffy, right? I got to take all this stuff out anyways because you don't ever want to store puffies bundled up like that. Condenses your down, and you definitely don't want to do that. Need a little sip. Do you remember the fill on those pants?
$6.50.
$6.50.
Yep.
All right. So this is the Sitka. I don't even remember all the names. It's the Down WS.
Windstopper hoodie, I believe,
Yeah.
is what they consider it.
Kelvin Down WS hoodie, which WS stands for Windstopper. This is a 900 fill coat, and it is warm. I don't wear I have worn that thing like scooping my driveway. It doesn't matter how cold it is. I am sweating like crazy.
Yeah.
But you had another puffy, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this, but you do want, like when you get in that cold weather, you want something to help protect you, and preferably with some windstopper in it, but like down is just going to keep you warmer. Do you have a downside to down?
Not really.
As long as you can keep it dry,
I was gonna say, as long as it doesn't get wet.
Yeah, if you get it wet, you're in trouble. I believe
Which the one I have wasn't down. It was just synthetic.
Oh, it's a synthetic down.
Yeah.
But still, you had to have that. Like,
yeah.
we couldn't have got through Idaho without having that. We keep referencing Idaho because really that was the coldest and biggest trip or anything that we've went on.
Yep.
But have you seen this yet?
No.
Dude, this coat
might have converted you.
I don't like, personal preference. I know some of you are gonna hate me for this. I don't like the First Light patterns.
I know. I don't blame you.
I much prefer the Sitka pattern, and really, that's why I have so much Sitka stuff and not First Light or what's the other one I'm thinking of?
And for everyone listening, he's talking about the subalpine pattern in particular.
Yeah, in particular. I went blank. What's the other big name pattern? Sitka, First Light,
Kuiu.
Thank you. I prefer Sitka, just the pattern, the subalpine pattern,
Yep.
over those other ones. Not that they don't make a good product, because this coat here is actually a First Light coat. And again, I think I can't remember their names. This is the Omen Storm Shelter. So I got this because I'm going to need a raincoat, and they thought a lot of stuff out. Like, they have lots of vents here. Like, these are all just vents. But the way they have them covered, you can open them and you're not going to get wet. This vent actually it's like folded over, and then, or maybe these are the pockets. These are pockets. But they're like folded over and then they magnet shut.
It's really nice.
I'm pretty excited about it. I have not bought high quality rain gear, and I looked at a lot of the different brands. I looked at your Kuiu, I looked at your Sitka, I looked at the First Light, and then I also looked at some non-hunting names, and just the reviews and the durability of this stood out when I went through all the reviews and stuff. Did you take? Because we packed some rain gear. Did you pack rain gear in to Idaho?
Yes, I packed what do they call it? It was the Cabela's one.
The
Space Rain.
Space Rain.
Yep.
Okay.
Which we ended up not needing it, but
Right.
it's definitely not anywhere close to as durable as what you have
It's
there.
not durable.
I mean, it would tear the first branch that.
Right. But
It's
the one thing you can say about it is it's light.
It's light, takes up the size of a little cup in your
Yeah,
bag.
it was like essentially nothing. Essentially nothing at all. So what else do you have in your pack? What's
like
just
the next thing.
yeah.
Oh,
Some of the stuff you can think about.
You probably aren't down to your shelter yet, are you?
Not yet.
Socks.
I don't geek out too much on socks. I know there's some guys that spend a lot of money on socks. You can spend $60 or something on one pair of socks pretty quick. I just don't do it.
I don't either.
My socks are pretty cheap. Those Cabela's ones, pretty affordable. I don't go anything crazy. I just make sure I have a good pair. Some insulated socks, stocking hat, gloves. Again, you can find this whole packing list actually on our website, thisseasonsmedia.com. Do you ever pack any of these?
A 2-pound weight.
No? What about these?
Definitely not. Was that just your filler to make it?
This is my filler for water and food weight. Yeah.
That was just to make it heavier, so he made sure that his students couldn't pick it up.
Right, exactly. I put it in there, and I was like, okay, this is what it feels like. And they're like, well, you don't have why? I was like, yeah, I got dumbbells, though. So I actually calculated, so 3 liters of water, which is what my bladder is like 8.3 pounds or something like that. So that's a lot. So like if you're able to like not fill your bladder all the way, that would save you.
Saves you a lot of weight.
Now in Idaho, we had to fill our bladder.
Yeah, and we almost ran out.
And we almost ran out of water.
Camp,
yeah.
like 3 days in.
Yeah, that was one of those things. So let me get rid of those dumbbells. I'm just feeling for clothes here. This is just a Sitka heavyweight hoodie. So what would you have to replace something like this?
What I have is one of the Mountain Ops hoodies. I forget what they call it.
Okay, but it's like the checkered interior
inside
inside
it's the
one.
exact same build.
Yeah. I don't remember what they call it.
Oh, they just call it their Grid Fleece hoodie, I believe.
Okay. And this is just an additional warm layer, really. I mean, I'm going in with my merino, a vest. Both you and I haven't worn them as long as you have, but I've really grown to like vests.
Yeah. You were looking for one not too long ago, right? Because you haven't had yours very long.
Yeah, I bought the Sitka Kelvin Aerolite is the one that I ended up buying. The other one I'm interested in, and simply for the wind stopper in it, is the Sitka Jetstream one.
Yeah, that's probably the one I would get if I ordered one.
Yeah, I'm real interested in that for the wind stopper in it. The main reason I went with the Aerolite is because it's actually a little warmer than the Jetstream was. If I remember, maybe I may have that backwards.
I bet you're right.
I can't remember. Anyways, but it was packability.
Yep.
Is why I went with the Aerolite.
Yeah, the Jetstream's going to take up way more space.
Yeah. So it just packs down because it's down. But this is just a warm layer, not waterproof or anything like that. You just need a nice thermal layer. What else I got here? This is just my Sitka lightweight hoodie. And the only reason I would take this, I probably wouldn't take this if it was a shorter hunt. But for 10 days, eventually I'm going to want to change my base layer, even if it is merino.
And if it were me, that's probably what I would wear first.
Is it?
My personal opinion.
Yeah.
But
I've grown to like that merino, but I don't have a reason why I chose the merino first, but it'd be one or the other first, and then I put the other one in the pack. And if I was going on a shorter hunt, I wouldn't take them both. I'd just grab one and go. Probably the merino on a shorter hunt just because of the odor. Because this doesn't control your odor, really. Like, this that BO gets pretty bad. This is a Cabela's Polar Tech, and the only reason this is in there is for safety and to sleep in.
Yep.
I don't want to sleep in my same stuff that I'm wearing all day long.
Yeah, that'd be one of those that as soon as you get to camp, that's coming out of the pack.
Right, this is coming out of the pack when I get to camp. I'm putting it on. It's warmer than just my lightweight base layers that I'm having, and I can kind of get out of that stuff that I've been hiking in and hunting in all day long. So do you have something similar to this that you'd throw in?
That I have that exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's what I had packed.
Yep. So I really like it. I don't know if they make it anymore or not, but it's affordable and it's warm. I've had this thing for years. It's been through a lot of stuff. Starting to get into some not so clothes stuff. Matter of fact, my clothes are gone. So that's all I have for clothes. And that was, I do have, they're laying over there. We've podcasted long enough that my headphones are starting to hurt my ears a little bit. Merino underwear.
Yep.
I wear merino underwear. And I can't remember what brand mine is. I don't remember. But it's some sort of merino underwear. And again, the reason I pick merino is for the stench. I can wear less pairs of underwear for more days. So.
And underwear is the proven fact of that material, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's where you notice, like, definitely does not smell as fast.
Yeah, I hate to say that I've taken them off after hunting for many, many days in them and smelled them, but I have.
Admit to it.
But let's be honest, we've all done it. It's actually really gross when you think about it. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that's actually what I have for clothes, and that I would plan on lasting me 10 days. I mean, you don't need a whole bunch of changes of clothes. Your plan is to kind of regulate wind anyways. But yeah, I think that could get me through 10 days. And like I said, if I'm going in September, there's a lot of stuff there that I'm not taking. The lighter the better.
Yep.
Especially if you think you got to get an elk out. I threw one meal pack in there, and this is not a full day's stuff. But what I do is I take these baggies. Did you do this in Idaho? Did you pack daily bags?
Yep.
So take these baggies and really just put what day it is on them. That way you know, and you can kind of regulate how much you eat, how many calories, and how much food you eat each day. You really want. It's hard sometimes when you're hunting and you're active all the time, especially if it's cold. A lot of times you don't feel hungry, but you got to force yourself to get some stuff down.
Yep.
Because it can get pretty dangerous out there if you're not taking in calories that you need and your body's not getting those supplements and those nutrients. So, lots of Cliff Bars and Peak refuels. And we were able to find those dried sandwiches that we took to Idaho. You know, after a few days, they're actually pretty good. Like, you start craving them when it's lunchtime.
Dried pizza.
Dried pizza.
Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I suppose was it freeze dried or no? It was just dehydrated, wasn't it?
I think.
Or was it? No, I don't think it was either one of those. I think it was just preserved.
Probably.
It had probably some nasty preservatives in it, but you definitely eat differently when you're up there. And I've grown to like these Peak refuels better than Mountain House because they're not as high in sodium. And sodium's not something you actually want in the backcountry because the more sodium you intake, the more water you need.
Yep. Which
is a problem. So I've grown to like the Peak refuels, and like I said, lots of Cliff Bars. I plan on making some homemade granola bars this year, like honey and peanut butter and granola and stuff like that. Those will be good. Fruit snacks, nuts. What other kind of stuff did we throw in there? That's about it.
Yeah.
I usually pack lots of nuts. Nuts are good for you. Good carbs and fats and stuff. All right.
Got to be getting close to sleeping bag and.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep rolling here because I think we're gonna have time to just make this in one podcast.
Yep. Just brief everything in your pack.
I think so. I think we got time. It took longer when I presented to the high school because they had good questions and I explained lots of stuff, but it was kind of funny. They were actually really concerned with how much stuff costs.
Really?
Yeah.
And you were like, it's not pretty.
Right. Yeah. I was like, well, it's an investment. Jetboil. You have basically the same one, right?
The exact same one.
Um, a spoon usually does good on a long trip. If I'm going 10 days, I might take the fork also. But you just have a spork. Is that what you run?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why that's not. That's interesting. It's not working right. It's supposed to catch there, but it's not. Anyways, yeah, Brooke got me those for Christmas. The Jetboil spoon and fork, and I like them. Canister inside. Everything fits right inside. Matter of fact, this is the canister that you bought for Idaho. If you remember that.
Yeah. Take an extra one if you're listening to this, because we actually had a bad can of fuel.
Yeah, if you are by yourself, you definitely want to take an extra one. If you're with somebody else,
just make sure they bring some.
Make sure you plan on both having one, because the last thing you want to do is not have fuel. And did we have one not work up there? We did, didn't we?
Do you remember that? It wouldn't even melt water.
I don't remember why.
I don't think we ever figured it out.
There was something with, and I do know, like, your elevation affects it. Elevation has a huge impact on things like this. Chad and I had one go bad. I had actually bought a bad canister from Cabela's, and we couldn't get it to work. We thought it was my Jetboil at first, but like when you attached it, you didn't even, you know how you hear that psst?
Yep.
When you attach, it didn't even do that. And we couldn't get it to light. Luckily, that was on our shed hunt, our rafting shed hunt, and luckily he had another one and it worked just fine. Yeah, I forgot about that.
You might want to test that one in there, because for some reason I thought it was that small one that's in your Jetboil now.
It could be, but I think I want to say I'll have to do it again, but I want to say I did test it when I got home. Now that I'm thinking about it, and that it worked fine, and that I was thinking maybe it was elevation, but I don't remember. You definitely want to test all that stuff anyways before you go. You don't want to just assume it works out of the store. Here's something that was new. A solar charger. And I don't take this all the time, but when we're running camera gear and stuff like that, videoing our hunts for the season's media, you got to make sure you have some power. And we're relying on onX Maps for our navigation. So
you just strapped that to the back of your pack, and the sun hit it as we were hiking.
Yep. And you can just plug right into the back and stuff your device or portable charger or whatever into a pocket and direct sunlight. This isn't one of the big ones. It takes a while to charge something with this little thing, but it was pretty affordable, and I don't use it a ton. So I'm going to have so much stuff to put away when we're done with this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go quick on some of these things. Instafire, emergency fire starter. Tripod for a phone. That's a pillowcase. I'm going to buy a cover for my pillow. And so I threw that in there. That can go back to where it came from. But do you have a cover on your pillow?
It kind of has its own cover.
Does it?
Yeah, it's got like a soft blanket type material.
Mine does not. And it's not very comfortable.
It's like the slick.
Yeah. I have been like putting like that Sitka lightweight hoodie over the top of it, and then I use that as my pillowcase cover or my pillow cover. Lots of paracord. That was all in a wing of a pack. I don't know if you guys on camera can even see the actual pack or not. It might be too low, but we use this a lot in Idaho. That glassing pad we used a lot. Wool mittens, just to kind of keep yourself warm. Did you use these in Idaho? Like, did you actually wear them? I can't remember.
I don't think I did.
I can't remember if we ever wore them or not. All right. So let's get in and let's talk a little bit about sleep system and setup and stuff like that. So what do you have, Eric, for and this might throw some people off because it's not a brand that a big name brand when you're talking like, oh, we're going backcountry hunting. Like, tell us about your sleeping pad.
So my sleeping pad is the Cabela's Instinct insulated version sleeping pad, and
The only reason I say that is because they, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody I listen to. I've never heard somebody talk about it, but it's actually
it's a quality sleeping
yeah,
pad.
and it's in a decent price range. It's a quality pad. It's insulated. It has a lot of the same technology that a lot of the pads have. Um, so I guess I don't know why more people don't. The weights, it's not heavy.
No,
It's not, but so it's a quality pad that you just don't hear about a lot of people having, I guess.
yep.
I always take an extra pair of socks to sleep in because I'm kind of a sissy and my feet get cold. And my sleeping bag sucks.
Yeah. Aren't you gonna order a new one?
I am.
Okay, that's what
I
I
am.
thought.
I don't know what to get yet, though. I'm really struggling on that. If you guys have any advice or input on what sleeping bag I should get, I do want like a 0 degree bag. Like, I don't want,
Like 800 fill,
yeah.
0 degree.
Like, I want something warm.
Because yours is right now is technically 0, isn't it?
It says it's 0,
But it's not.
but it's not 0. I can guarantee you I would not survive at 0 degrees without all my other clothes on. Struggling here. I kind of just shove stuff back in. Ah, there we go. All right. This is my sleeping pad. I have the Climate Insulated V Ultralight SL, and I would say some of the similar things. I mean, yours packs down just like this does.
Yep.
This one's insulated, like I said, so that helps when you're on the ground and stuff like that. Like, you want to.
It's just warmer.
Yeah.
For the minimal more weight you're carrying, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I would not have bought one that wasn't insulated.
First of all, because of your sleeping bag.
Well, yeah, for sure. And then my pillow, I'm running the Climate X pillow. And like I said, I'm not a fan of the material on the outside. I'm definitely buying a cover for it before I go on my next trip. But it's a good pillow, easy to use. Now, I did also, it hasn't came in yet. I just ordered, and this is a new product, so I can't vouch for this product. I can't say it's going to be great or bad or anything, but I ordered it's called a FlexTail, and it is a pump that I'm going to take along. I don't remember what the weight is on it. It wasn't very heavy, or I wouldn't have ordered it. But and I think that's going to save me a lot of time and just hassle with this sleeping pad, because yes, it pumps it up, but honestly, the thing I'm excited the most for with it is it also removes the air, and that's always one of my biggest pains in the butt packing up camp is removing air from this sleeping pad, and trying to get it flat enough so I can fold it and put it back in this bag.
Yep.
So I'm pretty excited about that. That's supposed to be here this week sometime, so I'll get to test it out. But there's a lot of good sleeping pads out on the market.
I was going to say, you can't really go wrong.
I don't think so. The biggest thing you probably want to look at is weight. Some of them get a little bit heavier, but if you're not counting ounces, then I think you're probably okay. I am counting ounces, because I'm a nerd. Like, I got my spreadsheets and I got all that stuff. So
Yeah, he happens to have the lightest one.
right, yeah. Okay. I'm not going to take this out of the bag, but This is the Hilleberg Solo. I do love it. I have zero complaints about it. It's sturdy. It's durable. It keeps me dry. It vents well. It has a side vestibule, which I like. Eric, yours actually has a front vestibule. I don't know what your opinion is on that, but you got a steel on your tent, so that's a little bit different scenario. But yeah, I guess I don't have any complaints about this. I guess the complaint, if I had to pick one, is it is very expensive.
Yeah, I was just looking mine up because I couldn't even remember what it was called. But
which one did you get?
So I bought the Badlands Artemis 1 on a smoking sale. It's usually like $3.99, I think, and I paid $179 for it.
Yeah.
Like Brian said, it has a front vestibule, which honestly is not ideal, but for the price, you can deal with it.
Yeah. And that's a 3-season tent also.
Yeah.
This one's a 4-season tent, so you have a little bit more ventilation. Your tent in general probably isn't as warm.
No.
But I mean, you were just fine in Idaho, and if anything, I was probably colder than you were. But that comes down to one thing, and it's not necessarily the tent that had me cold. Yeah, so that's what I'm running. I also, if I was doing early season, I could potentially take a hammock. I have a hammock set up with fly and everything like that basically encloses me in like a tent. It's a little bit lighter. I mean, this isn't heavy. I don't remember. I'd have to look at my spreadsheet to say what it weighs, but it's the heaviest besides water. It's the heaviest thing in my pack.
Yeah, if I remember right, it's like 4.5 pounds, roughly.
Yeah, somewhere right in there.
I think that's about what mine was.
But and then I have the tent poles, obviously, but these are aluminum rather than carbon, which is obviously heavier. But when you're out there in the backcountry, you don't want anything breaking. Are yours aluminum or carbon? Do you remember?
Mine are aluminum.
Yeah. You want aluminum poles for these type of tents. Like, you don't want something where you're out there and these things break, because that could get you in some trouble. Okay, I'm down to the last thing. And this is the one thing that has to change.
Yeah.
This is out of the big part. I have some other small things. My sleeping bag. I tried to go budget when I bought this, and it didn't work out. It's a 650 fill bag. It claims it's rated to 0 degrees. I am confident that I could not survive in this at 0 degrees without like mass additional clothing.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is you got cold and I didn't, and
Right.
Mine was a 15-degree bag.
Right.
But
yeah, not impressed with this bag. It's a hike and bike bag. I will say it has gotten me through. When did I buy this thing? It's gotten me through 5 years. So it's a good bag. I like the bag, just not for cold temps. I would use this down to 30, somewhere right around freezing.
Yep.
Anything lower than that, I need something different. So I will be reinvesting in a better bag before I go on my next trip. But got to have that sleeping bag. And just do your research, I guess, is what it comes down to. And make sure you know what you're buying. The truth holds pretty well in the hunting industry that a lot of times you do get what you pay for. Except for when Sitka's having smoking deals on products that are a year or 2 years old. Then you're going to get stuff for super cheap that's really good.
Yes.
What was that? You were talking about something this morning. What products were you talking about?
The Kelvin Active Jacket
Yes.
is on sale for $100. Originally $289. I might have one already. And I paid more than that for it, by the way.
You might need another one. Okay. I'm not gonna go through all of these little side pockets, but I do want to talk a little bit about my water filtering. So I have the Sawyer Mini. I think it's the Mini. Yeah, it's the Sawyer Mini. I think there's a micro out there that they say works a little bit better than this. Um, we didn't use this in Idaho. We used. Did we even use these?
We used the drops.
We
at
used the
some
drops.
point.
So we didn't use the Sawyer Mini. I have used it and it works great. I've filtered water right out of the North Platte River and drank it, and it's clear and it tastes good. But it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Mhm.
You got to squeeze really hard to get stuff through. It doesn't have just this nice easy flow. Now I'm pretty sure it's the micro that they say has an easier flow. But this does a great job. I don't use it unless I have to. I use these Aquamira water treatment drops, and basically what you do is you put them in this small container. You put however many drops based on how much water you're going to have. You drop it in those containers. You let it settle for a while, and it's a reaction. So it's got to react, and once it's reacted, then you dump it in your water, and then you have to wait. I can't remember if it's like 30 minutes. Shake or stir and let stand for 15 or more minutes. If water's very cold or turbid, let stand for 30 minutes. So 15 to 30 minutes, and you're able to drink it. And you can't taste it, you can't see it, nothing. And it's simple. Like while you're walking around, you can have it being mixed up, and you're not trying to like push it through this thing. So that was something that I really liked about these, and that was the reason I got them, because this water filter it's good, but it just takes some extra work and time, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. Is there anything else you think I missed?
Oh, I was trying to think. I think you hit about all of it.
Aha! Headlamps.
Yep.
2 headlamps. I take 2. You don't want to run out. Now, if you have multiple guys with you, you might not need 2.
I also thought of one other thing you forgot. One of the most important things. A lighter.
Right there. I actually forgot about a pocket here. So there's a few things here actually. So here's my extra headlamp. I'm running a Nebo rechargeable headlamp, and then I'm running a Coast. Takes 3 AAA batteries. I don't remember what power it is, but it's super bright. I love that Coast headlamp. My power bag. So I got a couple portable chargers here. I got a phone charger, and I got my video camera chargers. And like Eric just said, a lighter. And so when I was talking with the high school class, they had another guy who had came in and talked a little bit. I can't remember what exactly he talked about, but he talked like Jetboil and stuff like that. And he said 1 lighter is none, 2 lighters is 1.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's pretty smart.
That's a good way to put it. So I actually have 2 lighters in here. There's another one in the side pocket of this pack, but I also keep one in my emergency my med kit. And in this med kit, I got super glue. I got Body Glide, which is for chafing. I got a knife sharpener. I got some big heavy duty rubber bands if I needed to use tourniquets. I got gauze. I got band-aids. I got paracord. Did I say super glue already? I think I did. If I needed to glue a cut shut or something like that. Now I think we're coming down to the end. Butt wipes.
I didn't know if you're gonna say it or not.
I use baby wipes instead of toilet paper. It gets you cleaner, and it makes you not stink so bad. Just a fact. Like there's nothing, and it kind of feels good to be clean down there.
And you almost always run out.
Deodorant, and instead of a toothbrush, I bring Colgate Wisps.
Yep.
Just a little bit lighter, less space, less things to worry about. There. Now, is there anything I forgot about?
That should have hit it all.
This is why we do this with a list when we pack.
Yeah.
There's one thing that could save our lives. What is it?
I can't even think of it. Oh, probably the most important.
Probably the most important thing in our
For
pack.
2 reasons. 1, so your wife doesn't kill you.
True.
2, so you actually live.
Right. This is it's a satellite communication device of some sort. This is a Zoleo. And this worked really good when we were in Idaho. So you can message, depending on what plan you have, decides how many messages you get for the month. Unlimited. I want to say it was like $60 or something for the month. I pay $4 a month right now for it deactivated, just so I can maintain the account. But it's got an SOS button on it. Obviously, power. You can send text messages. This Bluetooth right to your phone. It's got a check-in button where if I hit this button, it sends a message to whoever's on my list on my profile that I've created online, and just says, "Hey, I'm okay. I'm at whatever." And then it gives latitude and longitude. And like you said, the wife likes it because she can communicate with me. But also, like, if you're in a bad situation, this is something you need.
Yep.
When you're back there
It's
in the
not
back,
a question.
no,
You
it's not.
take that.
Yeah, it's not optional. And actually, when we were the night before we went into Idaho, we stayed at in a hotel, and we woke up the next morning, and there was literally a guy telling us at breakfast as we were about to go into this area, "Oh, that's where you're going in." And then I don't remember what the number was, but he told us like how many people had died in that
There's
exact
been
area.
like 6 people go missing there.
Yeah, like they go in and they just don't come back out.
We're like,
It's like,
oh,
wow, well,
nice.
that's good to know. Okay, well, this is why that's why you go in with one of these, and that's also why we go through. That was just a perfect example of why we go through a checklist when we're packing these things, and we don't just start throwing stuff in out of our closets, because it is very important that you fine tune kind of what you have and what goes in the pack, and you're checking stuff off and making sure that the stuff that you need, like this, is making its way into that pack. So one question they asked me, Eric, and I'm going to give my answer because I've already told you this, and then you got to give me 3 more things. So
Okay.
Their question was, if I knew that I had unlimited food and water, okay, I didn't have to worry about food and water. They wanted to know what's the next 3 most important things in my pack. Okay? And I told them a lighter, a working lighter, fire starter, and my shelter. Okay, so that's the top 5 things. So we have food, water, fire starter, and shelter. What's the next 3 things that you're making sure get in your pack?
The first thing I'd say after that is probably your cell phone with Onyx on it. Navigation.
So your cell phone
device.
Cell phone with downloaded, and that's going to be downloaded. That's not an option. Like, you're not going in without it downloaded. Okay, so food, water, fire starter, shelter, cell phone with downloaded Onyx.
Probably a jet boil to cook your food.
Jetboil.
And
you already have the lighter.
Yep. So you're good there.
And when we say Jetboil, we're assuming it has fuel because we keep a fuel canister inside of it.
Yep. Last thing I would probably say is, I was going to say optics, but that's more for a
that's hunting
necessity.
Yeah, like the question I think was geared towards
survival.
if you had to survive.
I would say probably like a puffy coat after that if it's cold weather. Yeah. Some sort of warm clothes, whether it's a puffy coat, sleeping bag.
Right. Yep. So we have food, water, fire starter, shelter, jet boil, puffy. What was the other thing you said?
And probably sleeping bag after that.
We're missing something. What'd you say first?
Cell phone.
Cell phone. That's right. Cell phone with Onyx. So those would be top 8 for us. And that's so you could survive. That's not talking hunting or even honestly even communicating. Like that's just talking like if we were in a life or death, what do we need to keep ourselves alive? That would cover it.
Yep.
And that's why I told them. They actually asked me about my cell phone. When I said that, they said, "Well, your cell phone has navigation." I was like, "Yes, but if I don't have fire and shelter, navigation might not matter."
No.
Like if I can't get warm and get shelter, it might not matter. But if I can build a fire, even if I have whatever my clothes situation is, if I can build a fire, and with my shelter, actually, I can, like if it were raining or something like that, I could stream a tarp I could stream the exterior of my tent over a shelter or something like that, or build a tiny fire within my tent and with twigs and stuff. Like I could stay warm.
Yep.
But without fire and shelter, you got no chance. So, anyways, that was just a quick pack dump. Again, it wasn't like perfectly organized. It had some extra stuff if it was really cold. It was missing some stuff, knives, weapons, stuff like that. But not all that would be actually in the pack. Like your sidearm would be on your hip. Your knife would be in the pack. Your rifle could be on the pack. It might be on your shoulder. But just a lot of those things there to think about. Again, if you want to check out that gear list, all of my gear list and Tyler's gear list are available at theseasonsmedia.com. So they're editable. You can make a copy. Actually, they're Google Sheets, so you can make a copy and you just kind of just make that for yourself. So, anything else?
I don't think so.
Tyler texted us earlier today and asked us about like costs and stuff for Idaho. We don't have time right now today to go through those, but we'll catch that. I have that written down. We'll talk about costs a little bit. And then he also asked us what we would do different, which, to be honest with you, I think really comes down to one thing we've decided, but maybe we can come up with some other things as well. But I think it really comes down to one thing that we agree on. But
yep.
Other than that, we don't have anything for today. I think we're out of here. We're going to go watch some March Madness basketball and drink some more bourbon, I think. I'm definitely going to need some more to get through some of this basketball stuff. But there's been some good games going on, so they're fun to watch at least. You have anything else?
I don't.
All right. Find us at The Seasons Media on YouTube, Fix TV. Hopefully you guys are watching there. If not, that's PHYX TV. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. And with that, I think that's it for us.
That's it.
All right, we're out of here.